Hi, Saj Hussain here, and in today's video I want to talk about high yielding properties. And today I'm actually at a friend's property, which I'll talk about more in just a few minutes. But when we talk about making money from property, generally there's two ways we look at that. Either it's making chunks of cash, i.e. capital, so that might be purchasing a property, adding some value and then selling it on, so you're flipping a property and left with chunks of cash. Or the alternative is you're acquiring a property, you're putting some tenants in there and the tenants are giving you a monthly income. So they generally tend to be the two ways that we create money from property. Now, there's a few other methods as well, but primarily that tends to be the basic methods most people tend to follow. But when we're investing in property for a monthly return, it's really about maximizing the income. What's the most we can try and create with the investment that we made, or the yield or return on investment, as sometimes people talk about, or the return on capital employed even, which I think is the key metric that we should be using. So over the last few years, particularly over the last kind of 8-9 years after the credit crunch, prior to that many people were on their single let properties, have a family in there, renting out a house or a flat from you, and you'd be making say £100, £200 a month. Now you need to buy a lot of those properties before you can have a healthy income. So over the last few years, 8-9 years or so, most people have been moving more towards doing HMOs, multiple occupation properties, where you've got a number of different occupants in a single property to increase the income that you can create from a single property, and i.e. increase the yield. And then over the last few years, more and more people have started to explore service accommodation, or short-term lets, holiday lets as sometimes it's also referred to as well. And this is where you've got guests staying for a short period of time, a little bit like they would have done say in a hotel. So you can increase the income from there even further. So today I'm at a friend's property who's converted this building. This was an old office building into 4 flats, and these flats are being set up as service accommodation. Recently got it up and running. It's done a great job. The numbers are fantastic in terms of on this. He's making an eye-watering profit on this particular deal, which is why I wanted to talk about this particular project. So in fact, let me just kind of walk around and show you the property as well whilst I'm speaking to you. So this is a 1-bedroom flat. In fact, you can sleep 5 people in it. There's a sofa bed here as well, 2 beds and a guest bed as well. But these 4 flats ordinarily would probably generate him about £500 a flat, so say £2,000 a month in terms of gross income. Now, running this as service accommodation is actually generating about £6,000 a month. So you heard me right, £6,000 a month off this building, which would ordinarily only be generating about £2,000 as a standard rental. Now the thing is, it's very easy to be attracted by these big numbers and think, right, I'm just going to shift across that strategy, or that's a strategy I need to do. But it's important to think about if that's the right strategy for you. Does it suit you in terms of your personality, your experience? They're much more hands-on. There's a lot of work involved when you're running these type of properties, in terms of guests are regularly coming and going and attending to them, attending to their needs. And if you think HMO tenants are demanding, your service accommodation tenants will be even more demanding. This is something I've been aware of for a few years, and I haven't really got involved in service accommodation until recently. I've got a project I'm just finishing off now, which will be 6 units, 6 studios, which will be running a service accommodation as well. And on the back of that, also setting up a service accommodation management agency to run alongside the HMO lettings business as well. So, more people are interested in this strategy, but actually there's a lot more work involved as well. But sometimes people are interested in strategies, and you start talking to people at networking events, and people are talking about the same kind of thing, and you feel that actually, because so many people are doing the same strategy, maybe it's becoming a little bit saturated. The reality is, just because people are talking about it doesn't mean they're doing it. And in Birmingham, for example, there's only a few people that I know that are doing this and doing this really well. When I say really well, are actually making a healthy profit from running this type of business. So the purpose of the video is really just to explore different ways of maximizing the income you can make from properties, and service accommodation being one of those. It's a great strategy to increase the profit that you're making on a property, and something I'm looking to start rolling out over the coming weeks as well. And if there's something I can help with, give me a shout. So that was the video for today. If you've got any questions, comments on that, fire away, and I'll look forward to answering those, and hopefully see you again very soon. Take care.